welcome to this week's episode of Untold Stories, a weekly D&D actual podcast, back with these wonderful humans to roll some dice, do some questionable accents, and hopefully tell a decent story. We've got a cozy little group of adventurers today to go through some spooky Halloween shenanigans, using bits from the brand new and silver bestseller as a recording, Vecna's Book of Vile Darkness, which you can pick up on the DM's Guild right now, all on its lonesome, or until the end of the month as a bundle along with last year's Halloween book, Nocturnes and Nightmares. Now, today's game is more of a horror leaning. As such, we'll be dealing with some heavier, gorier themes, and so our players have been briefed on this beforehand. We have some safety tools in place that we can make sure the fun comes from the characters being scared, not the players, and everyone is staying safe. But for those of you watching, this is your advanced content warning for gore, insects, disease, child endangerment, corpses, and suffocation/drowning. But first, let's go around and introduce our adventurers for this fortnight's foray into vile villainy and horrendous horror. Gethin, why don't you start us off?
Seems appropriate. Yes, tonight I am playing Sternum, a Calcaneus fighter/ranger. Calcaneus being one of the lineages available in the book, kind of a bone construct thing. Fighter/ranger, the Deathbringer subclass from the book as well for ranger. He was once part of kind of a legion of Calcaneus. They all then died, and the various necromantic protocols that were ingrained in him kind of broke, and he's since decided to set on a quest of killing all manner of undead to prevent this happening to anyone else.
Excellent. Chris, on to you.
I am playing, and I'll see if I can do the voice. I am playing.
Discord's gonna hate that.
You might be able to do the voice, but Discord will not.
No.
I probably won't use that voice, but a variation on that.
You won't last half an hour with that one.
I'm playing Absent, who is a phantasm lineage, also from the book. Essentially, a sort of half ghost sort of creature. Absence is not his true name. He has forgotten his true name. He is a warlock of an undead patron, and by undead I mean dead. His patron deity died many millennia ago, so long ago that he has forgotten, and he has forgotten his own name and identity. His patron's last dying command was to get vengeance. Did not tell him who that vengeance was on or where to get that vengeance, and so he's been wandering the material and ethereal plane for many, many, many years, clueless as to what to do.
Get revenge on who?
And he cannot die until cannot pass on until he gets said vengeance.
And finally, Sarah.
I am playing Zuberi Thema Berenike of Maibe.
Sorry, say it again slowly.
Zuberi Thema Berenike of Maibe. First and last of her name. She was once a great queen that ruled mercilessly over her land and people, and was buried with great honors, and therefore became mummified, so she is a mummy. But some grave robbers decided to rob her grave and steal some stuff, including her heart, and other organs, and many, many jewels. So now she is a grave robber rogue, going from tomb to tomb, robbing others until she finds what is rightfully hers, for she cannot know peace without it.
Grave robber and mummy also being from the book.
Yes.
Yes, we have a full bunch of book characters with book subclasses, at least to a small degree for most of you, I think. Right, well, in that case then, we have our characters, we have our stage. Let's begin tonight's episode of Untold Stories. Fear. An emotion hardwired into our very souls for our survival and safety. This is true. But fear exists far beyond us. It came into being when the first creature took breath and lives long beyond our last. A myriad shade that sweeps the astral plane finds form in countless protrusions into the material. dangerous avatars of this extraplanar power that threaten the citizens of the material plane are investigated, recorded, and in some case contained by those of the Lysander Institute. But not this time. This time, that which has been sent into this plane has come on the behest of something far darker than fear. Something older and more terrifying than even the very concept itself. Come join us as we open Vecna's book of vile darkness and see if our players can survive the horrors that lie within. So the three of you have been contacted and called, summoned through various means, some arcane, some bound, and some just with your own whimsy and will, to the town of Manor. The Grand Manor has sat here for a little while now. It's been quiet for around 20 years, but the road up to that house has become seriously overgrown, and crops in the nearby fields in recent years have begun to suffer from some form of disease that withers them from the root, and the people are falling ill from the resultant foul harvests. Less experienced teams have already been contacted and sent ahead, but have been unable to get through the path to the house for some reason. Some fleeing, some not making it out at all. So as the three of you stand here a little ways from the road leading up to town, what would you like to do? It's a stormy... The storm clouds are beginning to come in as you arrive about mid-morning. This sleepy little farm town.
Get the feeling that none of the locals are going to be that much use.
Well, I wouldn't expect much for them. They are clearly from very humble origins.
Yeah, well, if they haven't put this problem to bed by themselves, I doubt they're going to have the information we need to sort it out. So...
We should enter.
And to the manor, or what direction can we see the manor from where we are?
You can a little way. It's a little while into basically the town sits at the edge of a woodland, and the manor itself is separated from the town by the woods. So leading back a little while, you can see just above the tips of the trees it looks well enough, a little bit run down perhaps, but the manor is there a good sort of half day's walk maybe. It is a long distance. You get the feeling that the people who owned this manor weren't particularly keen on the surrounding lands.
Woodland ain't
Themselves apart.
nothing concerning, but I suppose we could ask if there's any easy routes through. No. Well, I ain't the most cheerful person to talk to, so either of you feel like talking to the locals?
You want information?
Information is usually useful, yeah.
Is there locals nearby?
As you look around the town, from the sight of a large skeleton bone construct, a mummy wrapped in bandages, and a person who is there sometimes and sometimes isn't, a lot of them have retreated indoors.
Yeah. Nice welcome. Thanks we get.
Can I walk to the nearest house?
Yeah, it's a particularly grand affair, one large room basically with a thatch roof.
I used that already. Yeah. Can I shift into the ethereal plane as a bonus action and walk through the door and appear on the other side?
Yeah. You pass cleanly through this wall that is only there on one plane and not stretching into the next, and see within 3 terrified people huddled together on the opposite side of the room from this ghost that has just wandered in through their wall.
Manor, tell me.
Okay. What do you want to know? It's so the oldest of these three is just sort of huddled up with the others, looking at you with sheer terror.
I don't know what I'm asking. Just information. I'm not the most intelligent.
How to get there?
It's the road is what people would take usually, but it's a bit overgrown. But the rest of the trees are closer together, so the road's probably best.
Why don't people go?
We sent people, but people ran away or didn't come back again. We don't know. Please, I'm just a farmer. It's not my time.
Anyone in town who does know?
I don't know. Please don't hurt me.
Yeah. I'm just gonna turn away. Like, I think I'm slightly hovering, like not literally but like just a slight. So it's not like a step around. It's literally just
It's more a glide.
yeah, it's like a glide around. And I unlatch the door, and I'm gonna actually leave the door manually this time.
You open the door, leave this terrified family. As you walk past, you do faintly hear a thud behind you as somebody falls unconscious.
No information.
Are you sure?
No information.
I have ways of making them talk. I'm gonna grasp my dagger.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We're scary enough as it is. A ghost walking in and demanding information is probably as good as we're gonna get.
I'll sheath the dagger away.
We'll find some use for it. Well, I'm unsurprised that the locals are useless. Otherwise, this problem would have been dealt with.
Suppose we go through the woods then?
We should enter.
Sure. Follow me. I know how to get through woods.
I'll float along behind.
I will look for an obvious entrance into the woods.
Yeah. So leaving the town, going up towards the manor, is a sort of dirt road, and it sort of passes through various crop fields and then into the woods itself. It seems, a little bit less well cared for than the rest. You get a feeling the locals probably don't use this path all that often. And as you sort of get to the woods, the path is looking the path was definitely cared for once. But it has been a long, long time since that has happened. And now the driveway that approaches the house dives deep into the Mayruff woods. The manor, you can see a little whiles away, was kept within a clearing a little whiles back, manicured by the manor's staff in a never-ending to and fro against the encroaching tendrils of this ancient woodland. But a driveway was carved through all of this and through the farmyards to this sort of little copse of cottages, and was kept clear, mostly maintained under the rule of the family, but over the last few years that has been choked by tree roots rising up through the cobbled path like creeping veins before you. The trees around their leaves are dark and thick and a greyish green, and the ground beneath your feet goes from the sort of cobblestone of what was a path once into more of a mix of rising plant life and spongy wet leaves and sun-starved weeds. But there is a path nonetheless.
I hope you don't mind weird, gross stuff you do. It'll probably go through you. And from behind the shield that I've got on one arm, I'll just pull out like thick, short sword that I'll just use as essentially a machete for walking through.
Nothing is gross to me.
Keep that in mind.
Seen too much.
And so you begin to make your way inwards along this path. The sort of stormy weather outside, the clouds begin to break as you enter into the forest. Gentle drop of water on leaves on the treetops above. A few drops sort of make it down and through and splash against you. And very quickly, the darkness of this forest, even 100, 200 feet in, quickly sort of encompasses you. Which for two of you isn't a problem. Quite used to the darkness of everything. Well, actually, only for one of you. Meanwhile, Gethin and Chris, Sternum and Absence do not have dark vision.
Oh no, I don't.
And so the darkness quickly encroaches around you, to the point where you are stumbling over these twisting roots and vines beneath your feet.
Not a fan of signifying our approach, but if two of us are blind.
Do you need me to guide you?
Give me a sec.
Not a matter of being guided, just a matter of being able to see. I will, like, sling my shield, like, and attach it to my back and pull out a torch, and just light that up.
What I will do is I am going to pluck out my eye and shove it in front of me and have it follow in front of me at the edge of the light, as I can cast Arcane Eye at will, and that has 30 feet of dark vision.
All right.
So I rip out my eye, and roll obviously ghostly spectral, and throw it in front, and it's a little blob from the end of the light, looking like scouting ahead. I can make so it doesn't move with us. It kind of just like as soon as we pass it, it just pops back into existence. Then as I'm recasting it,
I'm just imagining every time you just walk up to it and then throw it 30 feet, walk up to it and then throw it.
actually, yeah.
A ball in front of you.
And so, Sternum, as you step forward and light this torch, the sudden blaze of fire in this choked woodlands, you suddenly see the ground in front of you, a massive leech, a sort of large bloated maggot that was sort of underneath the leaves in front of you.
Ain't gonna get so much blood out of me.
And bursts, covering the ground with a sort of thick ichor inside it, which is rather slippery to walk through. If you could all make a dex save for me, apart from... Actually, no, Phantasm, you are also there. You're also their absence.
I can
12.
fly. Say again. So dex save.
Dex save.
Even though I can fly.
Are you currently flying?
Is it this happens? I make dex save for it happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm just kind of hovering very slightly above the ground. 17.
28.
You two are perfectly fine. Sternum, this sudden burst of movement in front of you. You step back and slip on this ichor and just crash down onto your back.
In a loud metallic clang of bone on metal.
Oh.
It is rather deafening.
I already miss the desert.
Lucky clumsy skeleton. To the ground.
Well, better watch out for large maggots then.
I forget gravity exists sometimes.
I don't know how to respond to that. I just start trying to get up.
Yeah.
Has my torch stayed lit or has it gone out?
Your torch has stayed lit, but it has sort of just clattered to the ground where it's like
I'll
the
walk
ground
over to it.
is, yeah, wet and scorchy enough that it's not catching, but it was beginning to burn and smoke.
I'll walk over and pick it up.
And as you get gingerly to your feet,
And I'll just sweep the area just to see if there's any more of these maggots around.
you sweep as you sweep the torch, you see, so in front of you, there are a number of not necessarily these maggots, but insects in rather large numbers just moving towards you. Not necessarily at you, as you see others like crawling and scattering past your feet. A few sort of make their way up and then back down you again. But they are moving away from whatever's in front of you.
Are they moving towards the village or just arbitrarily
Towards
away?
the village.
Do you think we should warn them? No, I don't think so either. Keep an eye out for insects, there's more of them coming. I'll continue to lead the troop deeper in, I suppose.
Yeah, so if you can all roll a survival check for me, a party survival check. So we will take the second highest result as the party's result.
Well, I'm the highest.
I got 7, so I think I'm probably the lowest, hopefully.
Missed that. What was that, Sarah?
One more time.
16.
1, 6.
16. There you go.
31 from me.
Yeah, 16 it is.
Survival by any chance?
Expertise.
And so you continue on your way forward, the one of you that can actually see in the dark properly, sort of helping take the way forward, but Sternum is used to this sort of exploration, is cutting down like vine and root in front of you to keep you all.
I think mine's
On
rubbish, but I'm just kind of going in literally a straight line, forgetting that we have to follow paths, and every so often they just have to nudge me. It's like, oh.
Just
I'm like,
occasionally just drifting in a direction, or is the right
like a
direction.
Roomba. I'm like a Roomba. Boom.
We'll stick a knife on you.
Yeah. The absence is just sure that the direction is the right direction.
Yeah.
And it might not necessarily be, as the path seems to turn away, but absence keeps going deeper into the woods and has to be called back. And you keep walking for an hour, maybe 2. However long it's been a while. As this darkness has encroached around you and got thicker, and the air, to those of you who can still breathe and smell, has become fetid with leaf rot and musty with the sort of cold, wet rot of a deep forest. The light from your torches now is mainly just lighting the outer trees of this path, and not much more beyond that. And above you hear a noise, fluttering of wings, and a single word. Rejoice!
Rejoice.
Rejoice.
Rejoice!
What the fuck are you?
Then another across the path. And another in the trees above, until eventually there is just a chorus of screeching above you, calling, rejoice, rejoice.
Rejoice for what?
The only answer is more calls, more screeches.
Alright, we get it. Not going to, but... Either of you have any clue? Know anything about?
Something speaks.
That's true. I don't particularly like it. I
I-
will put the short sword away and just rest my hand on the long sword that's at my hip.
I can see into the ethereal plane if I can see anything in it.
Nothing in the ethereal plane, but on the material, with the dark vision afforded to the two of you, you can see the trees above you are filled with crows. And the crows are all screeching this single word.
I mean, I can shut them up if you want.
No.
It is getting very loud. You are struggling to hear each other over the chorus of these calls.
Yeah, just signal. Let's walk on.
I was reaching for a heavy crossbow, but okay. Keep
It
an eye
might
out.
bring misfortune. Particular murder.
You've worked in this business before, yeah? This whole job is misfortune.
Yes, so why would we add to it?
Gonna come across it sooner or later, but fine.
The grand scheme, there is no fortune or misfortune. All balances out in the end.
I'll agree there's definitely no fortune.
I beg to disagree. Some of us take our fortune with us when we die.
Plenty of fortune with you.
Well, lead on then, Your Majesty.
You are having this conversation at a low shout as
Yeah.
the calls above you. Like, this is not an easy environment to talk in.
We're doing charades.
Ghost charades is very difficult.
So it's death. It's death. It's death.
Is that 2 or 3? I can only see. I can't tell if that's a finger or his nose through it.
And so you continue in through the dark of the trees. You walk again for a little bit longer. Maybe another hour or so, and nothing but the occasional grunts from Sternum to cut the branches ahead of you.
Every so often, I sort of float up into the air and come back down and go, "Oh, forgot that the world was made round."
You are incredibly annoying to work with. Are the crows following us still?
The crows aren't. In fact, as you all make your way forward, you hear a sudden lift as they all take off and fly away. That chorus still ringing as they go.
Now we can rejoice.
So as you continue on, the path ahead begins to fork. Roots thick, pushing up from the ground, splitting it in two, as a row of trees has managed to push its way up amongst the middle of this. They're taller than they should be if it's only been 20 years. Already seem as established and aged as the others around them. Their branches twisting and forming a canopy above you with the others.
Can I walk up to the tree and see if there's any oddness to them, essentially? Is there any clear obvious signs that they're wrong?
Make a nature check for me.
Don't know why I asked. I have -1 to nature, but
Or Arcana as well, or whatever investigation sort of thing you want to do.
Total of 19. I would a nat 20, but -1.
So you sort of run your bony fingers along this tree's bark, and it seems fine. Seems like as many trees you've seen before. It's certainly grown quickly, but that isn't too unusual in your line of work.
Well, something or someone is making the vegetation grow fairly rapidly, so keep that in your heads.
There's no illusion upon them, is there? I can see illusions.
No illusion.
You said the path forks.
Yes, it splits into a left and a right.
Can we see anything down either one?
Along each one, you see that the trees that have grown in the middle sort of sweep around, almost forming a wall off the path. One swings round to the left, the other round to the right.
Would you like to scout ahead?
Individually?
Well, I'm not exactly quiet.
Well, I suppose I can scout one of them ahead.
I will go over then and pressure on the shoulder, and it feels horrifically cold, the coldest thing you've ever felt, and the cold sweeps over you until your entire body is ice and you turn invisible, as I can cast invisibility at will.
Nice.
The invocations.
Vocations. I've never played Warlock before. I love it.
I'll look at
At will spells.
both paths, and then I'll just go. Well, right is right, left is wrong. So I'm gonna go towards the right. Scout ahead.
Make a stealth check for me.
Can I
I'll
do
keep an
the
eye on
same?
the left part.
I've realised my arcane eye,
Mm-hmm.
I can move it 30 feet around anyway. And it can go any distance. Can I send it down the other path?
Yeah.
So my arcane eye sort of like down the other path.
32.
32, like a whisper of a shadow across a
Super.
tree.
What's the minimum you can roll?
The minimum I can roll is an 18.
No.
That's the that one.
No. 'Cause
You're a rogue. Your default to 10.
Minimum you can roll is 27. So did you roll with advantage because you're invisible?
No.
High level rogues, people.
Yep.
No, we'll stick with 32.
That's it. Well, she rolled an 8, so it's 27.
And so, Zeberius, you creep forward, silent as the grave, quite literally in your case, and make your way around this sort of line of trees. It swings round to the right and then back round to the left again. You don't see anything odd aside this curve of trees. They just seem to pull you off the path and then back round again.
Hmm.
And by the time you're around the corner, you are back on the path on the other side.
I see.
Although the trees have formed a sort of wall in front of you, a pocket, thick and encroaching, confined.
I've sent my eye the other way. Does it meet up with her?
So your eye going around the other side comes to a clear route. It basically takes you around and then back onto the path again with nothing impeding you.
Does it meet up with Miss Berenike? Can't remember your first name.
Just call me Zaberi.
Zavira. Yes. Does it meet
Zabira,
up with her?
Zaberi.
As you come to the other side, you see, as you come round, Ziberi is on the other side of a wall of trees. You'd have to assume there is just a thick wall of vegetation that has basically encapsulated that right-hand side.
No.
What's going on?
Do roots don't meet.
I suppose then we better follow Her Highness.
Do I see anything out of the ordinary in the trees, like the wall of trees?
In the wall of trees ahead of you, you can't see between them. It just seems to go into darkness, even with your sort of dark vision. Just between the trees is a sort of blackness of old forest. And you turn to leave and go back up the other route, but that part behind you is gone as well now, encased in these trees that have closed around you.
Can I attempt to return my magical eye to me?
Yeah, your magical eye.
It follows the path backwards.
It follows the left-hand path backwards and comes to you.
So it doesn't experience the same thing she experienced.
No,
So there's no path around me now. That I
no,
can
you
see.
are just enclosed in this circle of trees.
I will
Lay
call
about.
out. Hello? Can you still see me?
The rest of you hear a faint voice, but obviously cannot see Zuberi for two reasons. One, the trees, and two, they are invisible.
Oh,
These it's clear on the other side. Left-hand side. We should follow her and find her.
Do not follow. The path here has disappeared.
Can you return?
I'm trying, but I don't see a path anymore. I'm gonna walk towards the trees in the direction that I think is the way back, where the path was before.
You begin to walk that way towards, and as you do, with a creaking of branches, creaking of bark, the trees seem to curl in closer and close around you tighter. The circle you're in has become smaller, the ceiling above you being blocked out by the branches of these trees as they appear to be closing in around you tighter and tighter.
Gonna head down the path that she did go down. Start
I will follow.
in that direction.
Yeah,
The trees are closing in.
Have you thought about leaving?
I tried.
Try harder.
Zuberi, every time you are turning and looking, every moment your eye is not on something, you look back and that tree is closer and tighter to you now.
I'm gonna not blink.
You do not blink.
Just like looking at
You stay
everything.
looking in one direction, and behind you, you hear the more creaking of the branches. You begin to feel the poke of a twig against your back. Meanwhile, Sternum, as you head down the path, you follow the switchback round to the right, and then round to the left. And you come to a wall of trees in front of you.
Are you in there? Yeah.
Everything keeps closing in as soon as I look away. Absence. Can you stop the invisibility? Perhaps that will help.
Can we?
You become visible again. Make a dex save for me.
Plus 11.
26.
26. I don't need to roll that because you're a rogue. You become visible, and as your form materializes in this space, there is a sudden movement. You feel it around your leg, first of all, of just suddenly there is bark wrapped around there. But you pull your leg free as the bark snaps closed. But now it's beginning to come around over your shoulder. You feel a branch move your hair. These trees are closing in fast and quick around you.
I'm going to unsheath my scimitar. And I'm going to try and hack at the branches to make some space.
Make an attack roll for me. And we're going to go into initiative for this now. So
Ooh.
roll initiative for me.
There was tons I was going to do there, but I can't do it all in this.
Big old +1. I'm rolling really well today. That's fun. Well, for now,
29
anyway.
to attack.
29 to attack and roll initiative.
Yeah, I know.
I had a load of good stuff to do, but I can't do it in initiative order because it all takes actions.
Dirty 20 for initiative for me.
22. Being high level.
Level 17.
Woo!
I feel powerful.
Also, to roll what you roll.
Yeah, I'm always using a die from now on, Chris.
And absence, what did you get?
For initiative, 5.
5.
I'm barely there.
Okay, so yes, Zuberi, you lash out with the scimitar and you absolutely hit with that. Roll damage for me.
Oh, I should have stayed invisible. 13.
13.
Should have stayed invisible and got around it.
You slash out and you cut back these branches, and they cut cleanly through with your magical blade. But as you do, the stems ooze a thick, dark, blackish red onto you, and the air begins to smell heavily of copper.
Does it hurt me in any way?
It doesn't hurt, but it is a smell familiar to all of you, that of blood.
Well, that can't be good.
Attack again.
I mean, I don't think I can smell
Yep.
it because I physically can't breathe.
Yeah,
that's true.
So that's 13 plus 13. So
Oh, can't be good.
somebody maths. 14.
27.
27 to attack.
27 hits. Roll damage.
9.
Should probably clarify she can attack as a bonus action because of her scimitar of speed or
Mm-hmm.
Kopesh of speed. It is a Kopesh, I believe. Yeah.
Not the only one.
Yeah,
by the way.
you slash out again and cut more of these branches back. You're beginning to get a little bit of freedom for yourself, a little bit of space to move around, and the cut stems hiss and sizzle with this blood as they pull back and fall heavy to the ground beneath you. You are beginning to stand in quite a puddle of this now.
I'm gonna yell. The branches bleed, but they can be felled.
Aye,
Is
works
it-
for me.
Is it so tight that we can't see through it? Did you say?
It's so tight that you can't see through it. Meanwhile, make a strength save for me,
Which of us?
Ziberi.
17 plus.
19.
Yep, that's a success. So you take half.
Wow.
Take 9 points of bludgeoning damage as you cut these trees back, and you suddenly feel a sharp, heavy thud into your side as another branch has grown very quickly into your side, basically pushing you into the wall. Sternum.
I'm just going to turn to Absence and go, I really don't want to do this, just the two of us. I will draw the sword at my hip that is also a Kopesh. This one, much kind of like, fully bronze in colour and runes kind of and hieroglyphs etched all the way along the blade and the fuller. As I will then attempt to start hacking my way through the trees.
Look at you two with your
Roll the hit. Matching swords.
It's good to have servants around.
First attack
Maybe
is a
simple, yeah.
31 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Second attack is a 32 to hit.
They both hit.
Third attack is only a 24 to hit.
Still hits.
So, first attack deals 10 points of slashing and 4 points of necrotic.
Mm-hmm.
Second attack deals 16 slashing and 4 necrotic.
Mm-hmm.
And the third attack deals 14 slashing and 5 necrotic.
Okay, yes, you cleave your way through this wall in a sudden flurry of well-trained and literally drilled into your bones slashes.
Mm-hmm.
Zabera, you see the way behind you crack open as the trees break away and fall. There is now a path out of here that is, again, steeped with blood as these cut branches begin to pour and pool this.
Drenched skeleton walks out.
Yeah.
You coming?
After you?
Absence, what are you doing?
Way's open. Anything I
The
need
way
to
for
do?
her back to you is open.
Yeah. I don't really have much to do. Waste that. Waste that. Maybe make it an easier time for her. I might throw invisibility back on her again. Invisibility compact. Can't remember if it's a touch spell or not.
It is.
Never mind. I ain't got much other than blast and a couple of things, so I've got a little rod with me, like a mini staff. I'm just gonna charge it up and blast some eldritch blasts around at the trees just to fill its face. Just to...
Blast those ultra blasts.
Yeah. There's like one core one that's like greener and more necrotic than the others, because I can make one of them necrotic, and then 3 smaller ones that go flying out. And then attack the trees, just to kind of blast some spaces. Oh, I have plus 14, so 16, 26 even, 32, crit, and 22.
Yeah, there's all hit.
22, and I've got a crit. What? 5d10? Do you want individual ones? Do you want individual ones?
No,
or...
just do them all together.
Yeah. 5d10 plus 20. 7, 10, 15. So 17, 23, 29, 36 plus 20, 56.
Yeah. Yeah, so you just rear up this like torrent of balefire into these trees and cut basically a tunnel through this that wraps around the areas. They do not go invisible. Now there is a way out path ahead of you, as well as the path cut back to you by Sternum.
Oh, that goes past her and just burns the whole path. Okay.
Can we see the path then? Can we see the mansion at the end of the path?
You can see the path ahead.
I vote let's get out of this forest as quickly as possible and deal with whoever's making it. Oh, it's clean.
So you'll quickly barrel away.
Oh, he's all the skeleton's all white. Stained show.
So you quickly barrel your way forward through and come to the other side.
I would like to say that I leisurely barrel my way through.
You
It looks
literally
like you're just
your way
walking,
through.
but you're at like full chat.
Like a glitchy character in a video game.
Like one of those travelators in an airport.
I make the noise.
You float your way through out of this trap of trees. Make your way through. Takes about 10 minutes more walking until you come to a large clearing. One side is basically splitting between this, the rest of the path in front of you, but splitting you from the other side of this clearing is a wall. A crumbling stone wall, holding a twisted wrought iron gate, wrapped in thick vegetation and barred shut, sealed by that foliage that has wound its way through every piece of metal, basically binding it shut. But to Absence, you see this gate and you see this wall in front of you. The rest of you can glimpse just about you can see that the trees continue their way inwards a little ways into this manor's grounds, and you can see the crumbling remains of the manor a little ways inside. But to you, Absence, these trees continue far beyond the wall. Here it is still wrapped and ancient beyond. You know the manor is there. This illusion is based off something, but it is not standing freely, and the grounds beyond this are not still clear and a little overgrown.
Say again, clarify. So it's more overgrown than it looks.
It's a lot more overgrown than it looks, and this woodland basically continues on the other side of this wall. Whereas the rest of them, it looks like there's, a few trees inside to sort of line the wall here. To you, it is just there is a wall in a forest, and beyond that, the manor is in there somewhere.
Oh, I can't see the manor.
You get the feeling you know the manor is there, but you can't see it directly.
Need to get closer to see the manor.
Sure, I get the feeling that whoever's on the other side doesn't want us in based on the looks of that gate, but you can try and break it down.
And the tree.
That do.
There's not that many left now.
There are many trees.
No.
There are many trees.
I suppose more than one equals many for him?
The forest thickens.
No. There's less there than there are behind us.
I see much, which others do not see.
Helpful.
Believe me,
An illusion then?
an illusion lies here. Must
Well-
be caught.
Unless either of you have a way to walk around the very obvious trap. Nothing's killed me yet.
We could walk above it.
You can.
Gravity.
Yes, gravity.
Stare down at the earth that I'm sinking about 2 inches into because of plate armor and everything. Gravity.
Yeah, the floor here is very spongy with dead plant matter. You are almost sinking into it.
Well, in that
There's
case,
just rooms in the way then.
So we open the gate, and then absent, you guide us through the illusion.
Did you just call me absinthe?
Yes, like the
it's the only
alcohol.
way I get through dealing with both of you. Not that I can taste it, or does it have any effect on me? Right.
There's just a gate, yeah. Did you say?
Rusted gate covered
there
in
is
foliage. And
A
everything.
rusted gate covered in foliage and a wall either side of it. This is stretching out into the trees.
Can I attempt to? Actually, I'll realize I'll walk up to the gate and go to pull on it, and then I'll look down and see there's a lock, and just turn to the rogue and just go. Feels like your specialty.
Oh yes. I'm gonna fumble in my many cloths around me. All a pocket. I'm a walking pocket. And I'll bring out.
You too in D&D can live your fantasy dreams where your clothes have pockets.
Yes.
Those pockets are flesh.
Shh, that's collateral.
Popping
Fine.
flesh. Go on.
I'll bring out my thieves' tool, and I will attempt to unlock that lock.
What's the thieves' tool?
My thieves' tool is cloth bag with little tiny needle thingies.
Oh, you might have.
Children's finger bones.
Oh wait, no,
Yeah, I'm
wait.
gonna say I thought we said that you had an ankh that just open things
Yeah.
occasionally.
Sick.
Just like a skeleton key sort of thing where it's just an ankh to locks, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. I will try and unlock.
My idea was it was her basically just telling the lock to open. This
How
is
dare you be locked?
Can't she convince it? What's the
So
lowest you can
as
roll?
you move up towards here and take this lock in your hand,
Do I roll? Is it?
Wait.
do not roll yet. As the lock bursts into a cloud of black smoke and quickly enters through your nose, down through your mouth, down into you, as you feel something dark settle inside of you.
This is why we don't trust doors in D&D.
In our defense, it wasn't described as a door. It was described as a gate.
Ah, bad. Do I feel any different other than there's now something dark and legal?
You feel like there is something stuck at the back of your throat. You feel a need to cough and clear it.
Is it clearing?
You feel a sort of gob of saliva move its way out. As it lands in your hand, it is brown and muddy. Little bits of earth clinging to the very dry saliva of the mummy.
I identify what it is.
And you very easily notice that, so make me an investigation check for me.
Are you proficient in it?
Yes, I am.
Then it's a minimum of a 10. Plus.
18.
No, it's not. Is it? Is it only a plus 8? Okay.
18. That brings us to... Okay, what did you roll, sorry, Sarah?
18.
18. You recognize this, being as sort of aware of this sort of thing as you are. You have been cursed. And the curse that you have fallen under, you don't know the full extent of it, but you definitely know you have been cursed in some way. You can make an Arcana check if you'd like.
Yes, please. Arcana.
This is not good.
15 plus 8. 23.
You get the feeling that whatever this is, though you don't fully understand it, it is creating something within you, and so could potentially be slowed down with various restorative spells such as Greater Restoration. But aside from that, it may keep on growing otherwise.
I'm gonna start laughing.
You okay there?
Perfectly. I've been cursed. Don't you think it's funny?
Not particularly.
I'm a walking curse, and I have been cursed.
Okay, I can
Nothing
kind of see that.
restoration. Nothing restoration won't solve.
Do you have that ability?
No.
Do you? Talking to the spellcaster among us?
To heal? I've not needed to heal anything for... I do not know how long. Thousands of years.
Okay, so ticking clock, bloody trees, rusty gate. I say we walk into the trap.
Did the lock come off the gate when she kept going?
The lock wasn't there.
Yeah.
But the gate itself is bound shut by foliage, by tree roots and branches.
Over the wall, then?
I suppose.
And
Can you take a rope up?
I'll shoot an Eldritch Blast at the foliage.
Okay.
Okay.
Aggressive negotiations.
Oh, well, I have to roll each time, don't I? So what that's 32, 26, 18, and a 33. 18 lowest.
The 18 doesn't hit, the rest of them do. Roll damage.
18 doesn't hit a tree.
Ooh. What's that? 4, 8. 18 plus 15, 33.
Yeah. So you again send these blasts in, and Sternum, you're near enough, and Zberi is definitely near enough to see that as these blasts hit, the reason why an 18 doesn't hit is that as that one strikes, and it does burn a hole, but that hole is quickly filled with more branches that wrap around and fill it in. You do clear quite a bit of space, so you might be able to force the door open at this point.
Bones, break it.
Certainly. And I'll walk up and put my ossified bone structure to the test and just start yanking.
Roll a strength check for athletics.
Athletics.
You know what
Well-
you remind me? You won't even know. I don't know if anyone else has played Medieval. Oh, an old PlayStation game called Medieval. And you reminded me of it.
19.
19. With a loud creaking, the gates begin to open towards you. You begin to move them back and away. It is difficult as the trees seem to try to bind it back shut again. They seem to reach out and try to close it in.
Let go, you living bastards!
I'm going to make one more check for that. So you roll athletics, and this is going to be contested.
25.
Yeah, you again pull, and as these roots manage to wrap themselves around and hold, you dig your heels in and pull, and these begin to snap and break. The door opens. The gates creak wide, and with a hiss of various vegetation around, the noise of the insects that you have heard disappears entirely as the illusion wrapping around this breaks. And the two of you who have not seen this yet, the inside of these walls is just as thick and choked with trees as the rest. The image of the manor ahead disappears entirely from your eyes. And you are left looking at a deeper, darker, and more cold edifice of wood face in front of you.
Trees. I definitely miss the desert now.
Same.
Any other bright ideas other than walking directly into the next trap?
Absence, your fire seems to do quite well with creating some space. Could you do that as we advance?
Okay. It's not really fire though.
What is it?
It's void.
Void. Well, as long as it works.
I'll float ahead then.
Mm-hmm.
Eyeball at the red.
Mm-hmm. And as you move forward, you enter into this sort of pool of mist that sits in front of, sits beyond these gates, knee depth to those of you who are on the ground.
I will at this point begin to float. Just a little bit above.
Float.
It means that we slow down a lot because I can only float up 15 feet.
You slowly float your way upwards.
But I'm going to float about 5 or 10 feet above the floor.
Well, let us know if you see anything up there.
And as you begin to float your way up above the ground here, you see the trees around you almost forming a corridor now. They seem less sort of encroaching, less willing to try and choke the life out of the rest of you, and they move apart a little bit sparser than before, so that the rain from the storm clouds gathering above is beginning to fall down into this space and splash into the puddle of mist around that blankets the floor. You can see easily enough that the entire manor's grounds have been filled with these dark-barked trees. It seems to have broken through the walls long before, and while there is less of it, the manicured grounds have been reduced dramatically by these twisting sentinel trees. The manor is nowhere in sight, obscured by the trees ahead, but the path underfoot has become less choked and twisted from what you can just about make out through the mists of the floor. And there is a little bit of a sight of dead bushes and shrubbery that peek through the gloom and the mist. Those of you who aren't flying, if you can make a Constitution saving throw, I think it is. Charisma saving throw, sorry.
Oh, damn you.
Oh,
I was like, that's a good roll. That's not. 13.
6.
rogues can fail rolls.
Yeah, Constitution specific.
No, she's got a great constitution.
Oh, charisma.
I'm not a nice person.
She's not very likable.
Me neither.
Very intimidating. Nothing else.
Okay, so the two of you take... I'm just gathering my dice.
Gathering the many, many dice. Also, I'm loving my camera being on the fritz and occasionally just throwing a line of static across. Good fun.
I know what it is.
29 points of poison damage.
Am I? How am I
Those are
not
skeletons.
anything against poison?
You are.
This is rubbish. I'm immune to poison. Ha!
38. You're immune to poison.
I'm made of bone, motherfucker.
Yeah, wow, nice.
Nice.
So you walk
Don't have
confidently
a bloodstream.
into this. Meanwhile, as Ziberi follows you and steps into this mist, you feel a sharp, stinging pain wherever this mist touches what remains of your flesh. And it begins to cut away into you.
Getting bullied.
Yeah, I'm not faring too well. Clearly, I'm too alive for this party. When dead.
Yeah, I found it's been quite useful to, not be living. What's
I'm
happened?
gonna. The mist, it eats at my flesh.
The mist eats at your... We're really not the smartest party, are we?
You notice that pain is continuing. It's not slowing down the longer you're in the mist.
I need to get out of here.
Can I see anywhere out of the mist?
With your vision, no.
That's fair.
Can I see
Nice.
away?
How far does your dark vision go?
60.
My dark vision.
Mine goes as far as I need it to. Hers goes up 150.
How do you know?
Because you've got 120 from your species. No, 120 from Devil's Sight. Plus 30 from your race. Whatever
That
your
is
thing
a
is.
long distance.
Bitch, yours devil sight?
You can see a long way,
Got
and
the
you can
thing,
see,
Eldritch in the thing, Eldritch.
quite like almost towards the edge of your vision. This mist seems to dissipate.
Stop running.
Yeah, I'm gonna run
Where
to
the...
that.
When you're a rogue, so you can move
35 feet.
pretty damn quick.
Oh, we never actually put that on your character sheet.
So it's that 35
The
plus the
devil.
dash.
No, just. How do you have 35?
Chris,
What? 35 what?
Movement
why do I
speed.
have 35 movement? speed?
Because you also took the mobile feat.
So I also took-
There's no
So
reason
you
to
can
slow.
move 105 feet around.
So with a full-on sprint,
Shambling mummy.
That's what I was talking about when we were making it, because she's a rogue with expertise in acrobatics and a 35 movement speed.
Yeah, because I'm
She's
like
like
Hazel. I use my
shambling.
claws to like.
That's full speed.
Dear Lord, this has got some real never after lives.
You should add in
running as fast as you're able to, you break through this cloud of fog and manage to keep your feet. The mist curls back behind you. You are free of it
Where are you-
and sight of both of them currently.
Where the hell did she go?
All you saw was her just sprint past you into the darkness.
Ida Manning with her bandages. Straight
To be honest, yeah, yeah, and I'll just keep walking straight ahead.
I'm doing the exact opposite of her. I'm shambling along at 15 feet around.
I have 35 feet movement speed as well. I'm just like, I will leave you behind.
Just gradually floating up above the rest of the mist.
I'm in no hurry. Time means nothing to me.
I will wade through the mist, continuing towards where I think the manor house is.
Yeah. And you can hear a hissing and a sizzling as you walk, but there is nothing for this mist to cling into.
I see.
You feel just sort of the occasional remnants of bits of flesh that may have been attached to you at one point burning away. The blood that was covering the lower part of you has turned into a thick black sludge by the time you emerge from these mists.
That is worse. I hate it. I want done with this. Let's go kill the asshole at the center of it all.
As you come through this
You wait another 10
initial
minutes.
pool,
Hang on a minute, they're standing at the edge waiting for me.
Holding a torch.
the two of you waiting there as you wait for the ghost to fly its way over.
Good small talk, like, so you missed the desert, huh?
Well, I found this there at least. I say found. Looted from the corpse of a very annoying prince. Similar curse
What?
to you, actually.
You see my face just darken in anger, like, you've been robbing.
Not robbing. Taking the spoils of victory from undead necromancers doing things.
Prince was this. Before my time? After my time?
You think I know that?
Must be after.
Zabira, like, don't you know who I am?
Not really.
I imagine my land declined after I was gone.
Well, it's certainly a ruin at this point.
And the two of you standing on the edge of this pool behind you. As you are looking forward and waiting, you can see an area where the trees have spaced out quite a bit. They've opened into a sort of large circular clearing. Though the sky overhead has been obscured by sort of choking branches that aren't sort of wrapping together, they have actually freed up to allow the rain through. And you see ahead a path that is more visible, and statues, some form of sculpture through the mists. As once again you see through this garden another pool of this milky white mist covering the ground.
Oh. You avoid the mist.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go look at a statue. in hopes it will provide some context. Because at the minute we
Beware of illusions.
good job.
So, Sternum, you move forward through the mists here, and as you begin to head in, they thicken gradually as you go until they cloy around you, and you can barely see 5 paces ahead of you. A vague, bulbous form lies on the ground. You almost trip over it.
I'll prod it.
Sorry?
I'll prod it with the crowbar.
You
Don't.
put it and your blade passes easily through the flesh. A little burst of some sort of white, wispy-ish thing clinging to the bones of your feet, mixing in with the sludge.
Well, it didn't wake up, so leave it there, I suppose.
You continue further in. You can barely see your own feet at this point. You come face to face with a horse, or at least something that looks like a horse.
Statue or flesh?
Bone. At least from what you think, it is very difficult to see through this mist. You have a vague shape in front of you that looks bony and horse-like.
Could do with a mount, to be honest. I'll walk closer.
And as you walk closer and this moves through, you move through the mist, you see it isn't exactly a horse. There is a skull within of a humanoid type shape wrapped around with the withered remains of plant life to form a vague horse shape. You see that each of the legs of this horse seems to be a skeleton of another person, draped together and twisted into the vague shape of a horse. A man sat atop it, greenery twisting in between the held together bone.
I'll briefly turn around to see whether the other two have caught up, chatting.
You
what
can
they're doing.
only see the mist. Meanwhile, on the other side of this cloud, Zuberi, as you wait their absence, manages to make their way at last over the mists and join you.
This is very quick.
From where you are, you can't see Sternum anymore. You can just see this cloud.
Where is Bones?
He went to investigate the statues. I can't go into the mist, so can you go check? And I'll point the direction that he went in.
What will you do?
From above, if you see a different path with no mist, tell me. If not, I will just run through it as fast as I can.
I'm going to take a ghostly but more solid than the rest of me looking talisman off my neck and offer it to you.
This will aid you traveling through the mist.
What is it?
Protected talisman. Blessed with the powers of my dead patron.
It gives you a D4 on saves. If you're going to fail a save, you can add a D4 and if you might pass it.
I will incline my head solemnly. Thank you. I'll put it on. I do like jewelry.
I want it back.
as soon as I cross the mist.
And then I'll fly up above the mist to try and locate Sternum and maybe a clear path.
You gradually make your way upwards, and this cloud extends maybe 10, 20 feet up into the air. From this vantage point, you can see the wind seems to be carrying the main sort of cloud that sits in this clearing off and away down to the sort of left of you, deeper into the wood. What's your passive perception?
16.
So you notice that the mist that sits around the floor doesn't clear and stays sort of wrapped within this circle, but this cloud that fills it begins to move into the woods.
A moving cloud of poisonous gas.
Yes.
Did you really just drop a cloud kill on us?
Oh, you wish it was cloud kill.
Oh, ominous. The fog's... Say again, sorry. The mist is moving away towards the woods. But
So
sun's
the sort of cloud that's sitting in this clearing is moving, dissipating with the wind, whereas the floor beneath it is still filled with knee-high mist.
So there's no way out.
You can definitely go around the other side of it. You can
Oh.
make your way around the other edge of the clearing. But again, this clearing is about, from your vantage point, maybe 100 feet across.
I mean, that's 6 seconds.
That is 6 seconds, so it could just be another quick sprint through for the mummy.
I'll return to her and just go...
There is space on the other side.
Then I shall cross swift as I come.
And then I'll go look for bones. Sternum.
Meanwhile, Sternum.
I am right up close to this horse. This affront to botany and biology and anatomy, anthropology. One or two.
Definitely not anthropology.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really want this as a horse. Well, hopefully this will be quick. And I'll draw the blade and go for a decapitation of the horse head.
Yeah. It isn't able to move out of the way. It's not even a living thing or even an undead thing. It's just a sculpture, so your sword passes cleanly through the neck.
I
And
kick it over.
falls to the ground and shatters under your feet.
Well, I sincerely hope there aren't more of those. And if there are, I'm going to make it whoever made its problem. And I will continue walking up the path in the hopes of finding a way out of the mist, considering I don't think I can go back.
I think with your survival, you are very aware of which direction you are wanting to go. And so you continue on a little bit further until you find another shape pushing through the mist again. This one, a similar sort of silhouette of a figure of a figure standing with a sword raised atop some sort of steed.
I really don't want to go through the entire time taking all of you down, so just gonna keep moving. But I'll keep moving with my eyes always on the statues, slightly mistrustworthy of them.
Mm-hmm. And as you walk past this, you hear faintly.
There's someone in there? Alright. Mumble twice if you're actually alive. I'll head over and see if I can pinpoint where the noise is coming from.
You realise this noise is coming from the figure atop the horse, which, as you look closer, you see is a person human, possibly an adventurer given the way they're dressed beneath the wrapping greenery and thin trade bits of plant life that have wrapped around them.
Do we know that other Lysander Institute teams were sent here?
You do. You were made aware of this.
Can I look for any identifying signs?
Up to the task. Roll an investigation check for me.
That's going to go well. That's a 3.
The body here has been, like, while it is upright, it seems to be being kept that way mainly by plant life.
Can I, like, see the face or something like that?
You can definitely see the face, which is looking at you with wide, somewhat grateful but also mistrusting eyes. There is a crazed mania in there. And you see the mouth has been pierced beneath the chin by a branch with a thick yellowish sap flowing out and is coming forward through the front of the face, pinning the mouth closed.
You look horrible. Once for yes, 2 for no. Are you from the Institute? Well, that explains where the rest of you went, then. Did you come with others? Yes, no questions are going to be helpful here. Did the plants attack you? That wasn't very clear. Do you want me to try to get you out? I can't promise you're going to survive. Okay. I will, first of all, look to see whether I can pull that branch that's sealing their mouth shut out.
Roll a strength check for me, I guess. Depending how you're doing this.
Don't scream. That's a 10.
You go to pull this, but it is so tight to his skin you can't get your fingers beneath it to pull.
Well, they're so young, not going to be talking for much. How is he, like, held in? Is it, like, plant worker or...
There is a plant that has sort of bound itself around him.
Okay, I will...
Like boa constrictor style.
It's sort of like a weed that has, like, hit his chest and, like, branched outwards. Each of these little sort of roots is wrapping around his limbs.
Okay, I will slide my short sword, like, down between and try to, like, lever it off.
Make a sleight of hand check for me.
This is going to go well.
Because you are putting a blade against a fleshy chest to try and push it.
I don't understand how that works. I'm made of bone. 14.
Yeah, you're made of bone. 14. Roll damage.
I'm only using the short sword to sink these. 6 because I was using Dex.
He screams as you feel a hot, like he screams into this closed branch as you feel a hot wetness hit your hands. As your blade pierces into his stomach from where you try to lever it. And the plant does not, you cannot quite wrench the plant free.
That's not good.
He is now bleeding.
From a stomach wound. That guy's dead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just a light stomach wound.
I was slightly stabbed.
Being alive is overrated.
I'm sorry. But I don't think we can be dealing with majorly wounded. We didn't bring a healer. Make a noise if you want mercy. Look,
Made a noise.
your choice are stay here or have the sweet release of death that not many people get.
He looks at you with like a look in his eyes of, I can't answer yes or no to that.
Do you want me to try one more time? Fine, but I'll say again, no screaming. And I will try and just pull the thing off him. Like, pull it out and off him rather than just yank.
Make an athletics check for me.
28.
Yep, you pull this free, and it's lucky he survived that. As you basically pull these, you see the like little bits that have wrapped around him cut cleanly through the flesh as though they are razor wire as you pull, sinking down into the bone. You pull the plant free. The bit that was pushing its way up into his throat comes out cleanly. As
Well,
cleanly as it can. With
Put a
the amount
hand to
of
stem the massive gout of blood, but it doesn't do much.
as he immediately, his body becomes racked by something. You can see the eyes open wide as his body is wrenched back upright as he screams,
I'll snap.
"Rejoice for the coming of the Lord of the Rotted Tower! Rejoice for the approach of the Undying King! Rejoice for the coming of the Lord of the Rotted Tower! Rejoice for the approach of the Undying!" He falls silent.
Can I roll a history check to know what any
You
of
can
those
roll a
titles
history
mean?
check. You can absolutely roll a history check.
I am proficient in history.
And the rest of you definitely heard this. He was screaming at the top of his lungs.
I will
18.
go over and try and find. I was looking for sternum anyway, so I will slowly hover
This
in
has
that
made
direction.
that dramatically easier.
Yeah.
18.
18. Those names mean something to you, particularly as a skeleton made of bone. Something which has been constructed for the purposes of fighting the jewels of a wizard and the fighting the sort of machinations of somebody who would create an army of things made of undead. Those are names often attributed to the Whispered One, the King of Secrets, the Sovereign of the Spider Throne, Vecna.
I didn't think I'd get an opportunity quite this early in my life. I'll see Absence kind of approaching and like make a signal towards them. Bigger problem than we possibly first thought. I think we might be dealing with the Whispered One, or at least someone directly affiliated with him. And that is not something to take lightly. So,
And as you two are having this lovely little conversation, you hear a creaking from the edge of the what's the word? From the edge of the clearing. And two ghastly shrieks as something begins to come out of the mist around you towards you.
I will pull
And we
my
are going to enter combat. And we're going to put a bookmark in that for a moment in this particular untold story until next week. So join us next week to find out what on earth's happened to these poor little mortal and vaguely mortal beings. Join us next week.